Everyone in the room laughed, except her. The sound echoed off the dojo walls, loud, sharp, and cruel, as the man in the white gi pointed at her with a smug grin and said, "Come on then, let's see what you've got." She stood frozen, mop still dripping onto the blue mats, her gray sweatpants stained with bleach and her hands trembling, not out of fear, but from something deeper, something old and buried. The entire gym had gone silent after the laughter subsided, waiting, amused, expecting a quick humiliation. But no one expected what happened next. What they didn't know was that this woman, the one they overlooked every day as just the cleaning lady, was about to remind them what true strength looked like, not the kind earned with belts or applause, but the kind forged in silence, in pain, and in years of invisible survival. Backhand index pointing right if you believe in kindness, second chances, and that every human has a story worth hearing. Please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Your support helps these powerful, real-life inspired stories reach hearts that need healing. Her name was Rosa Martinez. 43 years old, single mother, survivor of domestic abuse, and janitor of the West Valley Martial Arts Academy for the past 5 years. Most people didn't know her name. She arrived every morning before sunrise and left after sunset, her days defined by the scent of disinfectant and the squeak of a mop. She moved quietly, cleaning up the sweat, dust, and ego left behind by the students who trained on the mats she scrubbed. No one really saw her. No one asked why her left hand was always slightly stiff, why she wore long sleeves even in summer, or why she sometimes paused outside the training rooms just to watch. Rosa had been a national-level taekwondo fighter back in Mexico 20 years ago. She had been on track for the Olympics until her dreams were derailed by the man she married, a charming, brutal coach who broke her spirit as efficiently as he'd once trained her body. After years of suffering, she escaped with her young son, Daniel, and fled to the United States with nothing but 2 backpacks and the memory of a girl who once knew how to fly across a mat. Life in America wasn't the rescue story she hoped for. Papers were hard to get. Jobs even harder. But she worked, endlessly, cleaning houses, washing dishes, scrubbing floors. And then she found the West Valley Academy, and though it paid little, something about being near martial arts again felt like touching the edge of a dream she'd lost. She never told anyone about her past. She didn't want pity. She was too tired to explain. Instead, she poured herself into her job, kept her head down, and silently watched the students train, sometimes moving her feet in quiet patterns when no one was looking. Her son, now 16, had begged to take classes there, and she saved every tip to pay for his training, never once asking for a discount. Daniel was a natural. Strong, kind, and focused. He reminded her of herself before life had turned cruel. That day, a demonstration was being held at the gym. Parents, instructors, and advanced students gathered. Rosa, as usual, was cleaning in the background. No one paid her any mind. She wiped the glass doors, picked up discarded water bottles, and stayed clear of the cameras. The black belt leading the demo, Jake, a former state champion, was showing off. Confident, charismatic, and just a little too full of himself. He cracked jokes, challenged students, and finally, when looking for a final punchline, he spotted Rosa in the corner, mop in hand. He smirked and pointed at her. "Hey, how about you? Want to try your luck?" The room erupted with laughter. A few students chuckled awkwardly, some looked away, and Rosa froze, unsure if she was supposed to laugh too. Jake kept going, amused by his own joke. "Come on, let's see what the cleaning crew's got." Something in Rosa shifted. She stared at him, not with anger, but with a piercing stillness. She placed the mop carefully against the wall. Her sleeve slid up just enough to reveal faint scars on her wrists. She stepped forward slowly, not saying a word. There was a murmur in the crowd, some snickers, some gasps. Jake laughed nervously, not realizing the storm he had just summoned. "Okay, we'll go easy," he said, holding up his hands in mock defense. Rosa bowed. Perfectly. Precisely. Then she assumed a fighting stance, one that made two of the older instructors in the crowd sit up straighter. Jake swung first, lightly, clearly expecting her to fumble or flinch. She didn't. She blocked it effortlessly, her body moving like water, fluid, deliberate, dangerous. Then came the second strike, faster, sharper. She ducked, pivoted, and swept his leg from under him in one breathtaking motion that landed Jake flat on the mat, his GI wrinkled, his ego bruised. The room went dead silent. Jake looked up at her, stunned. Rosa reached out a hand to help him up. He took it, dazed, and when he stood, he bowed low this time, real respect in his eyes. Someone in the crowd whispered, "Who is she?" And another voice, from the back, said softly, "She's Daniel's mom." The silence broke into applause, not the kind you give after a flashy trick, but the kind that comes from realizing you've just witnessed something real, something humbling. That night, Daniel hugged her tighter than usual. "Why didn't you ever tell me?" he asked. She kissed his forehead and smiled. "Because you didn't need to know who I was to become who you are." The next week, the academy offered her a scholarship, not just for Daniel, but for herself. The head instructor, an older Korean grandmaster who had watched quietly during the demonstration, approached her afterward and bowed. "It would be our honor to have you on the mat again, Senora," he said with sincere reverence. Rosa declined at first. She said she was too old, too tired. But Daniel looked at her, eyes shining, and whispered, "Please. Just once. For you." So she did. She tied on an old, worn belt that had sat in her drawer for 2 decades. She stepped onto the mat, not as the cleaning lady, but as the woman she had once dreamed of being, and still was inside. She trained at night, with her son, surrounded now by peers who looked at her with admiration. And as the weeks passed, more people in the gym started sharing their own stories, of struggles, losses, and quiet courage. Rosa had given them something priceless, a reason to see beyond uniforms, beyond roles, beyond the surface. If this story touched your heart even a little, if it reminded you that every person has worth, no matter what clothes they wear or what role they play, please like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. We tell real, raw, and powerful stories for people who've been overlooked too long. Speech balloon special request. Comment below with, "I see you, Rosa," if you believe in giving people the respect they deserve, even when the world forgets their names.